I think I hear the song building.
Not really. Now you hear a song.
I know we can show our children a better future, one that we would all understand, one that would join us all together in every part, in every land. Our children deserve a better life, to respect and love one another. Oh, let's do it for the children of tomorrow. Take away all the hurt and sorrow. Let's do it for the children of tomorrow. Give them the guidance to follow. I know we can show our children a better future, one that was right and wrong, a new beginning, a new adventure. Show them the ways to be strong. Our children deserve a better life, to respect and love one another. Let's do it for the children of tomorrow. Take away all the hurt and the sorrow. Let's do it for the children of tomorrow, and give them the guidance to follow, to follow, to follow. Let's do it for the children of tomorrow. Do it for the children, and give them the guidance to light their way. Give them the guidance to light their way. Let's do it for the children of tomorrow, and take away all the hurt and the sorrow. Take it all away. Let's do it for the children. Do it for the children, and give them the guidance to follow.
Hey, everyone out there. This is Shinji Holocron, creator of the One Synth Nation contest, and this will be round one of judging. We have Shanmom Holocron as the host judge, will be hosting the show, and John Dirt. Unfortunately, Fintan Stack could not make it, but we have enough contingencies planned to do this with just two judges. So if you guys want to say anything about your part or, anything about the contest before we get started, I would go ahead.
Well, my mouth isn't full of food, so I'll go first. Which firstly, perhaps you have a filter so that you can get rid of my ums. Maybe there's some electronic piece of equipment, it'll just go and then so. Anyway, I think it's just a wonderful contest, totally honored. Yeah, honored to be asked to be a judge. You probably already heard that I thought that think that I'm really quite qualified, somewhat due to my elderly status and being a guy from the 80s and 90s and synthesizer times. Mid 80s to mid 90s, I was in Vancouver. It's our big city here in British Columbia, Canada. And I worked in a club there as a sound man DJ, which gave me access to all kinds of rooms. And so fortunate, did posters for bands like Simple Minds, Alien Sex Fiend, Violent Femmes, bands from Etta James to, I don't know, let's do Perubu. I was listening to Perubu prior to the show because they use instruments to, like synthesizers to, like no tomorrow. So I've listened to the entries. I think they're just fabulous. I stay up to date with music. I'm just starting to make music now on my own. It kind of sounds like it, but I think I got a really good open ear to new sounds, different sounds, been around lots of synthesizers. I'm ready to go. It's awesome.
Right on, Dirt. Thank you. And honestly, it's your knowledge and not your age that brought you here today, because we really enjoy all of your work and all that you have to say. Really cool.
Hand in hand. Yes.
I'm here basically because I got roped into it by Shinji. I'm just kidding. I am a love of synths too, and I do love that he created this contest. It was like kind of a fever dream that he talked about for a few days. And yeah, I'm excited to get it started. All the entries are really interesting and unique in their own ways. So
you two,
yeah, let's get it going.
Yeah, and you two have some gear, I think.
What was up?
You guys have synthesizers of your own, I think.
Yeah, we have a Panasonic electric organ from the 70s, a stylophone, an analog one, of course. And then I've got a couple sequencer synths. I just got a MIDI controller as well.
You need that. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it's a relatively new thing for us to be doing too.
But do you have an actual theremin? A physical themin?
I do have one. It was built out of a Tesla coil. It's a piece of shit.
Oh, that makes sounds. So I thought there'd be a ton of entries with theremins, but here we are.
Yeah, I thought there'd be at least one, but I think a lot of people don't. Theremins are really expensive, and even though they're easy to build, it's hard to get some of the equipment that you need.
Okay.
So here's our playlist for round one of #1 Synth Nation. We are today looking at people with multiple entries, including Emotions, Vin Hudson, Peter, and Cogwell Sprocket. So we're going to start it at the top here, I guess, and then from there, I guess we will pick which of their entries will move on.
Yeah, I thought we could listen to each of their entries back to back. And then once we're done with theirs, we will just vote on or decide which one of the entries that we like the most, which one was the most technical, and which one deserves to go on to the final round.
Sure, cool, because they were basically using the same gear for their each different thing they did. So yes, good.
Correct.
All right, so we're going to just start by listening to each of these entries, and then we can go in deeper into the fork and things like that. So this is When Shinji Meets Shanmom, very cutely named, by Emotions, the love version. Here we go. Oh, I got to, yeah, that's right. Here we go.
Let's do it. Okay, we're back. Good. Just a melody. Question.
Go ahead.
Are we going to be reviewing each track, or each after each of the, say for example, there's 2 emotion song. Are we going to review them both? In other words, I don't think we should do them all at the end.
I was gonna say,
We're
yeah.
gonna review and then narrow it down as we listen to their entries.
Yeah, I was just gonna play both of the motion song,
Good.
and then afterwards we'd give it the breakdown on each song. But just make sure you're keeping notes as you're going.
Oh, I am, and there's good contrast actually between these 2, even though they got a similar title. So, yep, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. For me, points, well, let me just explain first. Emotions is great. They use the semi-modulated analog synth, the Moog, which I really like. And the length, for me, points are given because the length of this song was perfect. At about 2 minutes, we had some bleeps and bloops I really loved, and it was cohesive enough. I also had like a dial out that was fading at the end, and I really enjoyed that. So I'm just going off of like feeling and creativity. This was really an interesting.
Which in this case, certainly you can't help but be going by the feeling quite a lot. But anyway, we're going to listen to the next one, I guess, and then we'll chat about them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Here
Perfect.
we go. Oh, and this is the space version of when Shinji meets Shanmom. So.
This is good too. There you go.
Okay, so
Mhm.
just to get us started here, I had kind of broken down a point rubric for different types of synths. It's just like a loose guideline though. So like analog synths are worth 5 points, modulars are worth 4, sequencer synths are worth 3, keyboards 2, and then if you use like a MIDI controller, it's only 1 point because you could build an entire song with a drum track technically out of one of those.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take that much skill, you know what I mean?
I'll certainly, knowing that, I'd take that into account. So on this one, I mean, this is the big machine, right? From all the entries.
This is an analog, partially modular synth. I gave it 5 points as far as hardware.
Yes, understood for sure. So on the hardware, because I wanted to look up, a bit about it. So when you think about Kraftwerk, Autobahns, and Donna Summer's "I Feel Love," hey, Canadian, Rush, "Close to the Heart," Emerson, Lake and Palmer, "Lucky Man," Pink Floyd, "Wish You Were Here," Parliament, "Flashlight." So I'd say that's the monster gear pretty much of the entries. I did a bit more of a. Right, the band The Monkees, they were about the first ones to use it in 1967.
That's awesome.
That's a cool fact.
Right, and so it's not that technically it's a patchable 4-note polyphonic analog synthesizer with a built-in sequencer, arpeggio. Apparently, I'm new at this. I don't even know how to say arpeggiator or whatever, but stereo, louder filters. It's got tons of everything, and then it was interesting that on the Band Lab, it comes in as 1 track. So that's pretty much telling me it's got quite the built-in capabilities, right? That's what that told me. So that's about the gear.
We're gonna dig into this and look into it.
No, that's the video.
Oh, what? I can just click forward now. Shouldn't I?
Nick, you went into video.
Oh, sorry. These are really tight for me as far as which one I like better.
I do want to say that the first song, the Love version, had a good length. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. It had a pop song length. Now the Space version it's a 7-minute song. That being said, I think it takes you on a better journey.
And it's all in one stem, as we just saw there.
I think both were mixed and matched wonderfully. The Space version with the it gets me on edge, which I mean almost for the whole thing. So I can really appreciate all the sounds coming in, and I'm also at a carnival, and there's car trainy whistles, and almost when it gets too tense, they bring in the bass just enough to kind of bring me back down a little bit. But that Love one does it more, right? The Love one just keeps me going, and I catch some melodies in both. And I'm a fan of jarring, what the heck's going on kind of stuff, but that was just almost like a Ferris wheel, and just gets disconcerting for a bit too long for me. So I go with Love, and I totally do. Like, if we talk about next round, it's in, right? It's wonderful.
This Space one was just a journey, and if you get through that 7-minute, it just builds. You feel like you're having a little glimpse of the original Love version, and all of a sudden we're in space. He's experimenting. It's just a good, weird use of the synthesizer there, and I just feel like I like this contest because he just went on a journey, and he kind of just took us with him later.
I mean, again, I'd go with either one, right? This Emotion, I mean, they're perfectly mixed and placed, and nothing too high-endy to drive
definitely
me
wild.
And
so are you saying that you picked the Space version? Because then we need to break down into how we're gonna.
Well, I might have got it mixed up between the two, because
the Space version is the 7-minute song.
Yep.
The second one
the Love version is the 3-minute.
Yeah, I think I like the Love.
So it's 458.
Yeah, 458, because 3 is like the pop song. Like, and you had mentioned, poppy-ish, but.
Let's go with the Love version.
Well, I was just gonna say that if you did pick the other one, the way I would grade it is cohesion for this is Is the project seamless? Does it flow well, or is some of it just noise?
Well, none of
And then
it was just
emotions, if any.
noise. But do you know that sound I'm speaking of? Did it make you
I
feel
do.
like, oh my God, it's too long and I'm kind of tense here, and yet I think there's a bunch of beauty underneath it.
And that carnival noise that you're referring to, I believe, is the sequencer part of the synthesizer. I use sequencers pretty often, and it's
Yes.
very easy
Yes.
to get kind of a carnival music sound out of one.
Yeah, which I love. You know, the calanopy or whatever that term is, right, where it's almost out of control. You know, fan of
Yeah.
that, sure.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that as well. I do think that 7 minutes with that kind of going back and forth is a little tense, because carnivals
Okay.
freak me out a little bit as well.
Okay, check, got it.
For me, just going off of the grading rule of your cohesion, he was really experimenting more in the space version.
Yeah,
It
I did write
wasn't-
experimental.
Yeah, it wasn't as much of a
Yeah.
song.
Hey, but there was a squeaky toy thing in there. That's what caught me again.
Fun.
Around 5-minute
It was
mark.
fun. I felt like something was
it was a
flying
cushy,
past me
jumpy.
and-
I gotta love that.
Sure, both these songs are probably
Sure,
great on
sure.
headphones.
I got
Oh,
good.
all of Emotions music that's the way to
Because it
listen.
just sounds
Yeah.
like it's going past me in space, and I wasn't even wearing headphones, so that was awesome.
So we're
I
gonna
had
do
I had put
we're gonna
some
do love
stuff
version.
together previously, and at the end, I think if it's okay, I probably paste them underneath each of their entries, what my thoughts were.
I will remove it later. Okay, so with Emotions, moving on for the next round will be the love version of When Shiji Met Shanmom.
Yep, and telling by the comments, it seems like Milky Fun would agree. She wrote in a comment she liked that one more. So.
Oh, is she on the chat?
No, I don't know.
Oh, in a comment?
Yeah,
Okay,
she was
cool.
in a comment saying that. So.
All right, so
Very
next
cool. We got Vin Hudson. I really love Vin Hudson. Everything in his world is just fun and just. I would love to live in his mind. So we're gonna take a little journey into the pleasure hive with Vin Hudson.
Oh, there he is, Pleasure Hive. Yeah.
There we go.
Very good. Next.
All right, and we're gonna move right on to the second entry from Vin Hudson. Lancelot rides his horse.
Yes.
Oh, these are awesome. All right.
I know this one. Nice ending, of course. that.
And we've got one last song from Mr. Vin Hudson, Summer on Rexel 5.
So
This one's
far.
a little bit different. It looks like he used a app with the controller. So that's cool.
It's the same. He just did different art for this one.
Ah, very cool.
Yes, and great titles. I know Shinji loves the titles.
Oh, I do.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You do. Got to give points for titles, baby, huh?
Ooh.
Creativity.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. This one I like. There's the thing.
So I'm having a really hard time
Yes, we should. You should have a hard time with those three. Yeah.
between Pleasure Hive, I think, and the one we just heard.
Well, let's go one. Let's start at Pleasure Hive.
Pleasure
Let's start.
Hive. Okay, so these are all made with the full MIDI controller, the Akai LPK25. He added effects to duplicate stems, he says.
Yep.
So for me, Pleasure Hive is like crying. It's a dirty, sad, sexy, and it has that resonating ending. And like he almost picks like a guitar in these songs.
Mhm.
Pleasure Hive reminded me of the band Yes a little bit,
Yes. Rick Wakeman. Oh, gotta love it. Yep.
or
As
maybe
well,
even
as well.
Emerson, Lake and Palmer. At points.
Yes. Yeah. Totally. I mean, all three were different, and I'll talk about that one first. So it seemed that he was using the Vista synth in BandLab, using the
Yeah.
Akai whatever to control it, which is pretty cool, right?
That's what he said on the last
Right.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I mean, okay, let's start with the first one because he used slightly different approaches other than, as you're saying, he didn't do the panning and the so he used three tracks, and he took the one track and he duplicated it and then added the effects, which I think is cool. That's totally fine, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But as far as his controller goes or his input, how many points do you give him on that?
A MIDI controller is 1 point.
Right.
Very
So
easy to
But
use.
the rubrics are only the points and rubrics only if you guys can't decide between yourselves.
agreed. Because sometimes, geez, the toy's kind of wonderful. So
What are you feeling?
So, okay, on the Pleasure Hive, I go with it's one of the spacier back to basics entries that we've gotten, right? So back to basics, probably referring again to your Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer comments. So it had me sort of swaying in and out and almost waltzing at times. I enjoyed the channel growls and the scratch dirt, like almost cat growling I heard in there sometimes. Once again, my head almost spins, but if you noticed on the screen, I think my head was sort of spinning in unison to what he was doing. And so that's a good thing in this case, as opposed to, oh my God, turn it off. Although I'm not against jarring and I think, so it just seemed like an oscillating ending. I don't know if that's appropriate, but I thought that was good. It was like, woof, and it just oscillated my way out of this.
Yeah.
It was a journey. It was a good one.
Resonating.
The
but
whole song
oscillating.
reminded me of, not to be crass, but of sex. It starts like kind of romantic.
I think
and then
Shaman mentioned that as well. Yes.
Yeah, the beat like totally matches up with, slowly.
I have no thoughts on sex at this time, so there you go.
Boom, 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 boom. And then at the end, that was kind of like the big finish.
Yeah, interestingly, I thought I had already sort of picked out it from listening to them prior, which one I would pick out of his three, and I think I may change my mind by the time we're done discussing them.
Well, we got Lancelot rides his horse.
Yes.
Next. And so that also had a kind of romantic feeling, but then I did feel like we were riding a horse and it was almost repetitive. I mean, in a good way.
It was a lot of up and down.
Yeah.
Boom, ticka boom, ticka boom, ticka boom.
Yeah, like a medieval horse ridey thing. It was probably intended to be like Excalibur and all that business, I thought.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
And
if Lancelot had spent more time riding his horse and less time with Guinevere, then
Yeah, and he actually told us that sort of he got inspired by that, which kind of helped us when he mentioned horse galloping. It kind of helps us hear it probably too.
yeah,
right?
it did tell a
It's
story
good.
too, as long as you
Yeah.
knew the context.
Yeah, I made a mention that he's got eclectic taste, I think. Well, in probably everything, Mr. Vin.
Yeah,
So as
I
he said,
love
he
Vin.
wanted in his brain. That partly is probably why. Lancelot, so it was a bouncy, playful start, and boppy and free and flowing, and it makes, and also maybe a bit tense at times, but that's okay. Oh, I think I like the rapid taps, and I wanted a few more of those, right? Because it was just kind of super exciting, and maybe he'll add them. And so I classified this as medieval Baroque, if there is such a thing.
There is now.
There you go. Or maybe Baroque is medieval. Oh, well.
It does. Which is weird because it's a modern, very modern synthesizer instrument. So you have that medieval feel.
Oh, for true. But again, I think he's true to his titles.
Yeah, definitely. Which brings us to Summer on Wrexel 5.
Which was my personal favorite.
I do love that he going with his eclectic taste, as we would say. He knows what the Tomorrow People is, and that's awesome.
Well, I mean, if you know about Doctor Who,
That's why Shinji's got him as that song is the winner, I think. Yep.
Oh no, it's the winner because I could see this coming out in like 1978 with some space rock band like Pink Floyd and paying $30 to go see this at a laser light arena.
Okay, so I'm not going to change my mind. This is the one that I picked out of the three as well.
What I wrote is, it's wet, it sang to me, and it has the most likes.
Yeah, so I went with the cinematic start, which is good, the stop starts, and I felt like I was floating through a very lush space. Though it might sound simple, but I thought that's partly why it was so endearing, because it has me waiting for what's next, which is always quite good in a song when you're kind of knowing something's coming. And I just thought it was a nice oral sculpture, kind of referring to the Stranglers on the oral sculpture business. So Summer on Wrexel 5, although Vin, you should just have your own contest and do a ton of songs, I think. Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, Vin is great.
What's your vote?
I mean, Summer on Wrexel 5 has me as well, guys. It was between that and Pleasure Hive. And
Yep.
I just want to especially recognize Pleasure Hive because that was just, it was hot.
Yeah, that was my second one. It could have become first if we hadn't had this discussion. There you go.
All right, who we got?
We're moving
Peter?
on to Peta. He's got a Static Symphony and Bend Like That. So I'm
the guy with
excited.
one name. All right. Yes.
Yeah.
Peter.
I call him Owl Peter.
That's probably a joke
Yes,
though, and I
Owl,
don't get it.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's just his picture's an owl.
Owl Peter.
Oh, owl. Got it.
So he used an M Audio Axiom Air Mini 32. Let's have a listen.
Keyboard. Good plan.
I believe a MIDI controller.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's going to the washroom. I've heard it before. Whoop, whoop.
And moving right on to Peter's next song, Bend and Blend Like That.
Boom, boom. Yeah, I like the pans. That's what I liked on this one. Let's go down.
I gotta say, man, Bend and Blend Like That, that's phenomenal. I have not actually listened to that one all the way through.
I enjoyed both of these a lot. Static Symphony, I wrote it's crunchy, great use of feedback, dripping, and both of these tracks reminded me of Mark's Mothersbro.
From Devo.
Yes, there's good.
Yes, and I think that Bend and Blend is more unique. And I'm gonna read Fintanstack's comment here saying stunning panning and atmosphere with a playful childlike melody offering haunting undertones like war copters flying over a nursery playground. You know it's wrong, but you're intrigued by the premise. Immersive composition. And I have to agree. I think out of the two, this is my choice. How do you feel,
Okay,
Dirk?
I thought they were both great. I also like that they used a little plug here for M Audio. They're using a 32 key version of M Audio. Keyboard back there is good. M Audio's got great monitor speakers. I got to thank Peter for mentioning that he used Surge. It's an open source synth VST for your DAWs. I downloaded it, so I had to get used to all these sounds that you were using, and by golly, you did a really good job. Because on this one, I could investigate further, and I use a couple synths. But thank you for letting us all know that Surge is a great open source synthesizer. So on your static one, well, I'm John Dirt, so all that dirt growl that maybe got a little overdone static, I certainly got drawn into that. On this one, you used 11 tracks in BandLab. That's pretty. I thought that was cool. So I thought again it was a really good mix. Ambient is FCK, whatever that might be. You didn't really have a guiding bass, and that was kind of nice, even though I kind of could follow what was going along. Held together well. I liked listening to the very end. This is on your Static Symphony. Sorry. I sort of felt like a funny thing, a happy, bubbly robot So, and I like the sweet kind of phew voice exit. And on this one, I just made a point that sometimes maybe it's the ending that's going to matter most. If you get somebody to the end of your song, if it's a great ending, they maybe will just have to hear it again. So that's the Static Symphony. The Bend one, you got 10 tracks going. I thought it was a good length for sure. And on this one, I think it was kind of like you were going, like I can do, but you were doing it where you kind of got a nice synth sound and then you put in a sound that maybe they don't really go together. So I admire that you were doing, you're pushing some boundaries on that one for that reason, because it's the playful and it was silly, I thought, kept me engaged. Oh, I'm going to mention Esquivel, the famous, well, he should be totally famous, space age bachelor pad music, Mexican guy, 60s, stereophonic stuff was just happening. So he liked xylophone. Imagine he had a big band as opposed to your but I loved your in there again, which you would think maybe wouldn't belong together. So hey, you guys pick on this one. I like them both equally for different reasons.
Okay. Let's look at the rubric real quick.
And I'm looking at the forks now too.
Yeah, let's look at both of them.
Like Dirt said, this Blend and Blend has 10 tracks here. And I mean, look at how they blend. I mean, this is great.
You did it for, yep. I mean, okay. In truth, I was giving him numbering systems prior to knowing that, that's probably not socially good anymore. But anyway, I thought the Spacey got 8 and the other one got 7.5. So really, I can't really pick between those two once.
Yeah.
So, yay, Peter.
This is a tough one, Peter. Ow, Peter.
Go to the second song, the Static Symphony.
Yep.
Let me see the.
Now he did use the dirt a little bit too much, but he could always get rid of that. I mean, if you want. So
yeah, I think with the first one, it was really ambient. Oh, what'd you do? Yeah,
but again, on the Bend one, when I mentioned Esquivel, I mean that almost makes it a winner because if we're talking synthesizers here, I don't even know they called them synthesizers back there.
And the second one made me think of Rugrats, the cartoon from the 90s.
Okay.
Mark Mothersbaugh did the music for it.
And this is important because certainly our choices are somewhat based upon our memory markers, musical memory markers, things we remember. I understand you're a kind of sci-fi fan and
yeah.
You can
I am
be drawn
a huge
to that.
sci-fi. I'm a huge Devo fan too.
So
as we all should be too.
11 tracks.
11 stems.
And we're looking here. They're all little baby.
Yeah, some duplicates.
I think they're all blending together there. Wow.
I mean, I thought that was good. That was well done too. But then let's keep in mind Emotions with their one track that kind of does the same thing. So got to read something into the number of. I thought you did a good job.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Bend and Blend. Anyone
Perfect.
else?
Good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Maybe you got to ask the audience. There you go. You go by the number of likes or something. No, just kidding.
Yeah, the number of likes
that's
are
how we can decide
26 to 46 plays, and on Bend and Blend we have 29 to 45 plays. So
all right, Bend and Blend like that.
Yeah, there you go.
So we're going on percentage. Good.
Yeah,
Bam.
this isn't really based on likes, but this one
as
time,
a tiebreaker, just
Why
because
not? Let them break the tie. Perfect.
Yeah, with the rubric, both songs would have scored exactly the same.
Yes.
Good. Awesome job, everyone.
But Peter, you gave us the biggest challenge so far.
So far.
I mean, I thought Vin was hard, but definitely this is wow. Okay, so moving on, we got Coswell Sprocket.
What a name! Woohoo!
And go ahead and get that.
Is there one by him or two?
We got 2.
Okay. If I only had a brain, of course. Here's one of them. Yeah. Careful with that axe. Smoke. Nobody watch me have a smoke. I recall that ending.
Yeah, that
Wow.
this is the Discordia right there. That's fucking awesome.
Okay, you can hear me talk. Good. Okay, got it.
Let's go ahead and get his second track going.
Da-da-da. If I only had a brain.
And this one is
Wonder Axe.
Wonder Axe. If
Woo.
I only had a brain. That's awesome. All right, let's play it. Cue it up.
Think he's using an AX?
Yeah, AX80.
He is, yeah.
Pure analog.
Yeah. He's got bass.
Wow.
That's Cogwell Sprocket. Very good.
Cogswell Sprocket. That was hard.
And he tried to deprive us of one of those songs, Careful with That Axe. He released it and then he took it back, and I was like, dude, you got to put it back. That song's great.
Why didn't he want it?
Disqualified, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that it's because he used effects or something. But
Oh yeah, well he did, but sure.
yeah, but a DAW
Sure.
effects are fine, or whatever the effects that your synth itself can make.
I just really like the clever titles on these because it's the AX80. He said, "Careful with
Absolutely.
that axe."
Absolutely.
Wonder axe. It's great.
Yes. Yeah. In fact, that one was like Akai's first professional synthesizer in 1984. So that's kind of historic, right?
Very easy.
An 8-voice programmable analog synthesizer with a full 61, keyboard. Hey, and then Bjork, Homogenic album. They like this keyboard for that. And so that's kind of good, we think.
Great.
So anyway, on each of them, what do you think?
You can go ahead with what you wrote.
I don't know. This one I had a
What
hard
did I
time
like?
deciding. I think you like the first one.
I think
better.
the first one was cool just because like there's at one point where he's just kind of shredding the keyboard. It's like almost like a guitar solo. And it definitely ripped apart the atmosphere of the song that he had built so far and made way for the amazing Discordia outro.
Yeah. Hey, I ended up, I didn't realize this. I kind of, not another problem, but I kind of graded them the same. Oh, I got to mention this one too, because I did something recently that I thought was kind of like the Stranglers Golden Brown harpsichordy kind of thing, church organ. Apparently this gadget's really good at church organs as
I
well,
love church organs.
as in that's what they use for that one. So careful with the axe, what I think. So hey, there's bass in this, right? The oscillating bass for true, which is good.
Yes.
Then the scratches begin. I like the higher end accents very much, whatever they were. Apparently, everybody liked the was just enough. Or keyboards, almost a spectral sound, but beautiful, almost 3-dimensional sound. And then you had these little melodies that popped in and out. And so there was lots happening with only 3 tracks. Good mix. And I felt like you were kind of taking me away to far off places. And then again, you were ending with a little bit of chaos, which often works for me. So that's the Careful with That Axe, followed by another axe without lacking a brain. Apparently, see, I didn't quite group them in that order thing, but I should be able to figure it out. Because I kind of have to know which one.
Yeah, the 3 tracks, that's impressive. Let me see how many tracks there is.
Yeah, dig in the tracks while I dig into the other. Where did he go?
Yeah. Just to say we did it right. I do notice FinTan's comments on these, so I am taking those into account too.
Yes. Oh, hey, my thinking about the second one about only had a brain is so this nice wobbly bass and ambient chill keyboard accents I liked, and it seemed like okay. It's an early morning thing. Might be a little bit long, but again, if you're doing something at the same time, probably isn't too long. And I thought maybe a bit more of a build up. So, which of the 2 did you think?
Wonder Axe, we're looking at 5 tracks as opposed to the 3 tracks on the first one. So I don't know if that goes into anybody's.
It does. I will say that Wonder Axe, the If I Only Had a Brain, it built in my mind. It gave me visions of a cyberpunk dystopian future. Mad Max kind of mixed in there a little bit. I feel like it built a great atmosphere.
If you only had a brain.
Yes. And it was steady.
That
it
was
a
good.
Steady, solid track.
All right. So why did I go with Careful with the Axe on the other one? Title reference. It's cool machine. Yeah, apparently I think he made mention of it's a real cool machine that didn't really gain traction, and there's truth in that, but
yeah,
cool he's using that.
I think the first one's more impressive for me.
Careful with that axe.
Yeah, and the The length is better, I think.
The second one did drag on a little bit.
I personally thought Careful with That Axe was more original.
Oh, okay. Hey, how about we just do it for this one? Because I think they'd probably both rate kind of equally when we get to the next round.
Yeah.
It might seem like
Yeah,
a
thank
cop out,
you. For me
maybe,
too.
but maybe we'll listen to them both. And
And the second one only had a little bit more likes.
all right, so you're digging in real time, so that's good. Good.
But I mean, I will say, like, the cool thing about making all of these tracks workable in this contest is, like, there's a lot of ideas I hear, like,
In each of the comments, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
and
in a few instances, I'd like to have the video to see how they're playing it, but that's taken it a bit far. But there's a few places where it gets really intriguing, for
yeah,
sure.
right.
Yep.
So, I mean, anyone is welcome to fork these contest entries too. I actually,
Once the contest is over.
yeah, when the contest's over, I definitely encourage you to fork any of these contest tracks.
Yeah, and I'm going to
There we
copy
go.
and paste some of these comments into each of their tracks when it's done.
Right.
So what
Careful
are we thinking, guys? Has anyone got a solid pick on these two?
Shit.
It's so close. I think Careful with That Axe we'll go with.
Okay. Sorry, Shinji, you're not a judge.
No, I know. I'm asking y'all.
Y'all, what's that?
Yow.
Oh, come on, man. I've lived
What's
in
going
Florida
on,
since
eh?
I was 7.
What's happening, eh?
Okay.
So I will say
Doing my
that
Canadianisms
betcha.
for you.
that
betcha.
concludes round 1 of the Synth Nation contest.
Tomorrow we will be back at the same time to conclude the contest with round 2.
We've got Emotions moving on with When Shinji Met Shan Mom, the love version. We got Vin Hudson moving on with Summer
Oh,
on
super.
Rectal 5. We got Al Peter moving on with Ben and Glenn, like that. And Cogswell Sprocket with Careful with That Axe. I love these titles, great.
All right, so my math is kind of like you'll probably have 10 to go through. We'll listen to theirs again when they're part of the full package. Is that the plan?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So I was thinking tomorrow we could do, let's just go through all of them once. We'll go ahead and get rid of the songs that, just didn't compete up to the better songs on the playlist, the more complicated songs, I guess you'd say. And then do another listen through of the final songs and then go through whichever one we think is the best.
Very good. Little bit of a longer session tomorrow then. Just be
Yeah,
ready.
it'll probably be
Cool.
double time.
I think it's only about 10 posts tomorrow.
Yeah, but then we're going to listen to the final 3, let's say, again.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
definitely.
then get,
Definitely.
hey,
It'll probably
and
be
then
another 30 minutes to 45 minutes.
are these people tuning in? Like if we got to the final 3 and we said, do you want to say something? Are they going to be able to say something?
Maybe.
I'm not sure. I
would
will look
love to
into
have
that.
that.
Yeah, because it'd be kind of nice and cool. They can say maybe a bit about the track itself, might have some bearing on.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll
'Cause-
talk to to Angie and everybody about that once we're done.
Yes, because I certainly am more intrigued by some of these artists. Thank you for turning me on to them as well, for sure.
Yeah, and we'd like to thank all of the contestants. Special mention to everybody. I mean, for being such good contestants as well as good supporters of the other contestants. I've seen everybody in each other's comments, and that's just really nice
Good
to have that kind
connections.
of community here.
For true. That was a great
And
time.
I really appreciate everyone's entry. I wasn't sure how this was going to go, if we were going to have no entries or maybe just 2 or 3, but I
It's
really
a
appreciate
great
everyone
start.
who participated.
Yeah, I'm looking at a total of 15 posts for entry, not including our example entries that all of us judges may have put in. So that's great.
Oh, I didn't dare, at least not on the One Synth Nation, not quite yet. But hey, another thing. I mean, am I getting ideas and learning because there's such a great variety? Oh, for
Yeah.
true. I'm a good vampire on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly,
yeah.
I could play this Synth Nation playlist and just zone out all
Are you
day,
doing a compilation album?
right?
I mean,
We will. Once everything's done, I do want to get all of our example songs, the songs that you've put out for it to promote it, and
yeah.
have like a full
Anyhow.
playlist towards the end of it.
That'd
Yep.
be great.
I'd like to just do my quick plug because before the contest, I was listening to Perubu. And many of you might not have heard of them, but they're like Cleveland band that kind of were the first new wave punk band in North America for true. Final Solution, Peter Murphy covered Bauhaus and stuff, but they just use thermins and ray guns and every kind of little gadget that you could dream up. And I had mentioned to Shinji today that he kind of sounds like David Thomas, so watch out. Great fun. Thank you.
All right, man. Well, we
Over
will
out.
see you tomorrow.
Will do.
And everyone else, thanks for tuning in. Angie, thank you.
Thank you, Angie.
Thank you, Ange.
See you both again.
All right, man. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, bye-bye. Dun, 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 dun.